You can tell a lot of kids are really nervous about the test tomorrow because they're doing all sorts of crazy things for good luck. Some people have been bringing horseshoes and other good luck charms to school, and Ricky Fish has been selling trinkets he swears will get your math score up by 20 points. Some kids think that it's good luck if you only step on the red tires on the school floors, but others say the red ones are bad luck. And that's creating a dangerous situation in our hallway. Smack! I feel especially bad for this kid everyone calls Lucky. The way I heard it, he almost got struck by lightning playing golf with his dad, which is how he got his nickname, Kazook. Everybody says if you rub Lucky's head, his luck will rub off on you. So everyone's been trying to get a piece of him. Now Lucky's got a bald spot, and I'm hoping for his sake it's not permanent. Some people are so desperate to do well on this test that they've even turned to the statue of Larry Mack. They've been leaving candles and making offerings to his shoes in hopes that somehow it'll help. But the school said it was fire hazard, so today they cleared the stuff out. All I can say is that if we're counting on Larry Mack's feet to save us tomorrow, we could be in even more trouble than I thought. Tuesday. Today was the day of the big standardized test, which was scheduled to start at 8:30 and be over at noon. And even though I did my best to prepare for it, I was still nervous because I've never been a great test taker. The problem is that if I get distracted really easily. So if someone in the room is humming or chewing gum, it totally breaks my concentration. And since half the kids in my grade didn't even care how they did on this thing, they were way more distraction today than usual. I really wish I had thought ahead and brought some noise-cancelling headphones or something to block out the sound. The only kid in the room who could actually focus was Lucky, who wore a helmet to stop people from rubbing his head. Scribble, scribble, pop. I felt a little better knowing Lucky was trying to do well on the test, because he's pretty smart, and I figured he'd get our test scores up. I also knew he couldn't count on Andrew Hart to be the one to come through for us. Sniff, sniff. But the bigger problem was the kids who were headed to Folsom Tech, because I realized they weren't even going to try to do well. In fact, I suspected those kids were trying to do bad on purpose. And when I peeked at Jenna Healy's answer sheet, that pretty much confirmed it. Name, Jenna Healy. I figured the only thing I could do was try my hardest and hope for the best. But the test itself was practically impossible. And it felt like whoever wrote the questions didn't actually want anyone to succeed. Please fill in the choice that best answers the question above question. A, 1. B, 1 and 3. C, 1 and 2 but not 4. D, all of the above. E, none of the above. In the end, none of it mattered anyway. A half hour into the test, a bee flew into the room, which nobody seemed to notice except me. But that one bee was followed by a whole swarm of bees in a minute later, and we all had to evacuate the classroom. It turns out the snake that escaped from the assembly got into the room. The police dogs were running in the C-wing and totally freaked out the dogs, so the dogs busted down their door to escape. Buck, 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 slither! The beekeeper got curious about all the commotion in the hallway and cracked open the door, which was a huge mistake. Buck, buck, buck! The bees got into our classrooms and all the students had to wait in the parking lot while the fire department took care of the situation inside. And this was one of those times when it would have been really nice to have more than one school nurse. Monday, our school's standardized test scores came back, and let's just say the results weren't good. Nobody even got past the math section, and apparently the state doesn't give you a do-over if your classroom gets invaded by bees. That means our school officially closed on Friday, and the student paper marked it with one last special edition. And even though I haven't had a ton of fun in this place, it still felt like a sad day. Student crier, it's over. Middle school to close its doors for good. Not everybody was broken up about the school closing though. The kids who were going to Folsom Tech seemed pretty jazzed, and Mrs. Lackey was excited to head off on a cruise with her husband. But the person who seemed the most excited was Principal Bottoms, and now that I think of it, he'd probably been checked out for a while. Woohoo! Today was the start of my new life as a Slacksville middle school student. But if every day is going to be like this one, I could be in for a rough ride. First of all, I had to get up a whole hour earlier to catch the bus, which meant it was still kind of dark, and it's still depressing because at the bus stop when the moon is still out. But a good worse from there, since I'm the only kid in my neighborhood who's going to Slacksville, they can't put me on a regular bus. That meant they had to send someone to pick me up for school. Fudgy collars, pet grooming. But stop. And even though I like dogs, I'm the type of person who needs their space in the morning. Pat, pat. I tried to tell myself it wasn't so bad, but that was before one of the groomers washed a big Saint Bernard and he shook himself off mid-rent. Shake, shake, ah! If you ask me, the first day at a new school is hard enough without smelling like a wet dog. Slacksville Middle School. I thought there might be some kind of official welcome for the new students, but I'm not so sure anyone even knew we were coming. I'm kind of glad they didn't make a big deal of it though, because I had some hard looks when I walked down the hallway. Gulp. At least I was smart enough not to wear any gear from my old school. Andrew Huck had on a Lotus shirt and he might as well have been wearing a target on his back. Wah! Nobody gave us a schedule, so when the bell rang, I stepped into the nearest classroom where the English teacher was reading a picture book that was way below our grade. That's when I started to realize that the quality of education was even lower at this school than it was at the one I came from. In social studies, they were using textbooks that were at least 20 years old. In geometry, they were going over stuff we covered a really long time ago. Square, triangle, circle. In science, they had the same type of equipment we had at our school, but I'm pretty sure they were just burning stuff for fun. That wasn't the only thing that was a little off though. In phys ed, they used a full-size softballs for the dodgeball unit, and the special of the day in the cafeteria was a fried fish patty between 2 slices of pepperoni pizza. And even though the school assembly was entertaining, it didn't seem to have any actual education value. So I'm trying not to get too comfortable here, because based on my experiences on the first day, I'd be willing to bet Slacksville is going to be the next school to close. Friday. The nice thing about being in a place where the expectations are a little lower is that it gives you a chance to shine and not to brag. But I'm pretty sure I'm one of the smartest kids at my new school. People are starting to notice too. I overheard a kid asking his friend how much time was left in class. So I told him and they were both amazed I knew how to read a regular clock.